Canada's largest cannabis trade show.
So this machine right here rolls 100 joints in 2 minutes.
Scores of vendors are here showing off their best stuff.
So we've got some hemp water, some hemp sparkling water, and we also have some hemp energy shots.
Flax papers, wood papers, rice papers, hemp papers, and it's pretty good.
It's wonderful. Every kind of product you can imagine, all the new innovations that are coming out in the industry, it's beautiful.
And each spray is 2.5 milligrams under the tongue, so it's a microdose for shake and spray and smile.
You just put it right on your tongue. Yeah.
There are already countless products on the market, but there are many, many more coming, aimed at people who don't want to smoke a joint, but would like to get high somehow.
In Smiths Falls, just outside of Ottawa, this is Canopy Growth, one of the biggest medicinal cannabis producers in the world. In a former Hershey's chocolate factory, they're growing thousands of kilos of marijuana, much of it to be ready when recreational use becomes legal. But there's a lot more going on here than just buds in bags.
And what we're trying to do here is take that basic ingredient and convert it into whatever it could be.
CEO Bruce Linton leads us through the firm's research laboratory, where scientists are working on new innovations, including cannabis beverages, that Linton believes could compete with alcohol.
You want to modify your mood. You want to be in a bit more of an upbeat. You want to be more social. That's the same reason for alcohol.
Linton points out what he believes is a big selling point. Cannabis has no calories.
So if I could have a beverage that actually makes me a bit giddy and doesn't give me any calories, I'm feeling pretty good about that choice of a beverage.
Yeah, well, what we've done is we spent a lot of time re-engineering the e-cigarette hardware.
In downtown Toronto, Dustin Koffler has another option for casual cannabis connoisseurs.
There's different viscosities, there's also different types of strains, which means that there has to be different types of hardware to accommodate these types of extracts.
He's designed a line of vaporizers, custom-made for cannabis oil. His grandfather, Murray Koffler, was the founder of Shoppers Drug Mart.
Just before he passed away this year, we told him what we were doing, and he was extremely proud. And you know, we joked around saying that we're all in the drug industry, just on different sides of the spectrum.
He's already selling the devices to over 60 licensed producers in the U.S., Israel, Mexico, and Uruguay. But the reality is, any entrepreneur in this space is gambling to some extent. The date for legalization in Canada is still hazy. Instead of July 1st, now many say it could be August or even September.
Okay, go down.
This consultant acknowledges the risk.
We've estimated the base market, and we multiply the number of adult consumers by the estimated consumption and the estimated price per gram, which leads you to about $4.9 to $8.7 billion. That's your base.
But her firm has tallied up the money to be made by those with creative new products.
The upside for the ancillary market is about 12.7 to 22.6 billion. This is a huge number. Wow. As the infused products become more mainstream, you're starting to see a larger market opportunity, which is why you're seeing the innovation and the entrepreneurship in all of those edible type of categories.
That demand is what they're banking on here in Belleville, Ontario.
We're experimenting with all types of beers, but we're pretty partial to the Imperial Pilsner as being the most likely that we'll lead off with in the marketplace.
Duma Winshu heads up Province Brands, which is developing what it says is the world's first beer brewed from cannabis. The recipe swaps out barley for marijuana.
People don't want to step outside to smoke. You know, nobody wants to learn how to roll a joint. You spill stuff all over the place. You end up smelling terrible. You don't want to have to learn how to use a vaporizer pen. They have buttons. It's super complicated. It's sticky. Gets in your pocket. And if I were to meet you after work, you know, to talk about business, it would be really awkward if I was like, hey, let's meet at the bar and share a plate of gummy bears. Or nobody does that, you know?
That may also explain why one of the world's biggest alcohol companies, Constellation Brands, has invested $245 million in Canopy Growth. Cannabis is expected to steal as much as 20% of the alcohol market. No wonder entrepreneurs and investors are piling into the market.
Prohibition's a wonderful thing. We got 95 years of pent-up potential. Imagine how disruptive it is now that that goes boom, it's wide open.
With so many different products being developed, experts say not all of them will survive. But the race is on, and the enthusiasm, at least, is already intoxicating. Diane Buckner, CBC News, Toronto.